Ducking like a whack-a-mole. Yes, sir. I'm a big-ass motherfucking duck. I'm the biggest duck.
What do I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. So before we get going on this video, man, I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy so we can continue to grow like we need to grow over here. Alright, so with all that out the window, man, y'all see what the title of the video is. The only fights that make sense: Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. These are the only fights that make sense. These are the fights that the fans want to see. These are the most meaningful fights in and or around that weight class. Make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, man, let's talk about the Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson situation, man. Shakur Stevenson just got a big win over Jamel Herring. Beat the dog shit out of Jamel Herring. And, you know, Jamel Herring's a warrior. Jamel Herring is a soldier. You know what I'm saying? But Shakur Stevenson just put on a masterclass performance against Jamel Herring. And really was able to do some things in that fight. And show us as boxing fans that he's really just on that other level. You know, I think most people were suspected that Shakur Stevenson was gonna beat Jamel Herring, but I don't think there were many people that suspected that Shakur Stevenson would just completely utterly dominate Jamel Herring in the way that he dominated him, man. I got Arturo Gatti versus Floyd Mayweather vibes from that fight. How bad of a beating that was. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Oscar Valdez, who recently just got off of his fight versus Emmanuel Navarrete, and he got a win. And he also defended his belt in November. I forgot the guy's name that he defended his belt in November. Oscar Valdez has been looking a little shaky over the last few fights, but he's definitely proven himself to be a worthy champion in and or around his weight division. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you look at the landscape of super featherweight right now, because that's the weight class. If you look at the landscape of super featherweight, you got Shakur with the WBO. You got Oscar Valdez with the WBC. You got Kenichi Ogawa with the IBF, and then you got Roger Gutierrez with the WBA title. You know what I'm saying? So Roger Gutierrez, he's getting ready to jump into a fight with Chris Colbert. So, you know, he's tied up right now. Kenichi Ogawa just won a vacant belt, you know, off of I don't think he's Cuban. I forgot where he's from. He just won a vacant belt. So, you know, for Kenichi Ogawa, he's probably not going to go into another big fight right away after he just won a belt. He's probably going to take maybe a stay busy fighter or a softer touch than one of the other champions in Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson. So, I mean, you look at the other champions, you look at what's going on with them, and they just pretty much preoccupied for the time being. So, what other fight is there to make at super featherweight besides Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez? There was some talk about Oscar Valdez fighting Emmanuel Navarrete and maybe a rematch or some shit like that. But for what? For what? The division needs to be unified at this particular point in time. We need to see some movement here between these super featherweights, man. And we all know that Shakur Stevenson wanted it. It's just a matter of, do Oscar Valdez want it? You know, and up until now, we were all under the impression that Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez was pretty much done and that they were going to fight. But, you know, there was some other news that came out that Oscar Valdez ain't signing the contract and, you know, just all kinds of little shit going on in the background. And we just don't really know what to expect. But at the end of the day, it's like this. Both of these dudes are with Top Rank. Both of these dudes are champions. Let's bring these two together and let's go ahead and get the unification fight going on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the only fight that makes sense right now. You know, there's nothing that's stopping the fight. This is the only fight that makes sense. Let's make the motherfucking fight happen. You know, this is a fight for boxing, man. We're right now, we're in an era of boxing where we're just not seeing the fights that we want to see. And this is just one of those fights that just need to happen. You know, So let's just make the motherfucking fight happen, man, between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, man. You know, I think both Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez deserve to fight, and I think the sport of boxing deserves to fight, man. And I know these dudes are in heavy negotiations, and I know that there's a good chance the fight will get done, but man, I don't want to hear no reasons why. There's no reasons why this fight shouldn't get done. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? You know. And then we move along to Devin Haney and George Kambosos. We move along to that fight, and it's like, I mean, if you're George Kambosos, why would you not want to fight a Devin Haney? You know what I'm saying? You know, dudes like talking all this shit about Devin Haney. They like saying all this shit. Oh, Devin Haney, born Devin Haney this, Devin Haney that. At the end of the day, you're probably going to make the most amount of money fighting a Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Unless maybe you're fighting Tank Davis, but you know, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you're going to make the most amount of money fighting a Devin Haney. As far as your aggressive come forward style, Devin Haney will probably be the most tailor-made opponent for you. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, given all the top quality competition around that division, Devin Haney is going to offer you a belt, being the WBC champion, not the franchise champion, but the actual WBC champion. Devin Haney offers the most to a George Kambosos should he decide to fight Devin Haney. Why not make the motherfucking fight, man? George Kambosos is coming off a win versus Teofimo Lopez, which was a good win. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we need some resolution in this division. We need to understand who the number one guy is at motherfucking lightweight. We need to understand who the number one guy is at lightweight. And the only way to make that determination is between George Kambosos and a Devin Haney fight. You know? The thing about George Kambosos, man, and you know, it's crazy with him because, you know, he talk one way and then he start talking another way, and then you hear him lean towards other things and fighting Lomachenko and fighting not George Kambosos, but Tank Davis, and fighting Ryan Garcia. I mean, you hear about all these other little punk ass fights on the horizon, and it's like, why fight any of these other guys? Ryan Garcia literally offers you nothing. No belt, no real notoriety or prestige. We don't even know if he brings a fan base. All we know is Ryan Garcia got a poppin' Instagram. But we don't know how that translates into sales. We don't know how that translates into pay-per-views. There's no real reason to fight a Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta Tank Davis, I mean, Tank isn't really a contender at lightweight at the end of the day. I mean, dude is moving up and down weight classes. So, I mean, he hasn't really established himself as a top guy at lightweight. So why waste your time with Tank? You know, especially when you say you want to fight in Australia and you know Tank ain't going to no goddamn Australia. Now, Tank is going to offer you some bread, given the fact that he does pay-per-view numbers. But the only way that those pay-per-view numbers translate into any money for George Kambosos is if he fights here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? So try managing that. And then on top of that, you hear about Tank negotiating with Rolly Ramirez, which is a whole nother thing, which I ain't even gonna bother doing no video about, but which is a whole nother thing, Tank versus Rolly Ramirez. But it's just a lot going on with the whole Tank situation. So why even waste your time if you're George Kambosos with a Tank Davis? And then you got Lomachenko, who's probably like the top contender or a top guy or outside of Devin Haney that Kambosos want to fight. But why would you want to waste your time with Lomachenko? We just saw Lomachenko lost last year, you know what I'm saying, to a Teofimo Lopez. He's a guy that's been twice beaten. Why waste your time with a Lomachenko? Yes, it's a good win. Yes, it's a good win. But it's a win that could wait until after you become the undisputed champion at the weight class. It's a win that could wait until after things are resolved with Devin Haney. Why does a Lomachenko fight need to come before a Devin Haney fight? Devin Haney is the guy who's been waiting the last 2 and 3 years for his opportunity to prove to the world that he's the best at that weight division. And I know you, as George Kambosos, have been looking to prove that you're the best at that weight division. So why waste your time with a guy who just lost, who need to get back in motherfucking line for his turn at lightweight supremacy? So that's where I'm at with this shit right now, man. George Kambosos and Devin Haney, that's the fight that needs to happen. That's the fight that the fans deserve. The fans deserve resolution. The fans deserve to know who the best is at lightweight. Okay? And it's between Devin Haney and it's between George Kambosos at the end of the day. Tank is not the best at lightweight because he's just not a lightweight. He been going up, been going down. We don't know what the fuck he is right now. Loma's not the best because we just saw him lose to Teofimo Lopez, okay? He's not the best. I don't care what you Loma lovers say. All these Loma guys coming out the woodworks talking all this shit about Lomachenko, but at the end of the day, we just saw this dude lose 3 fights ago. Sorry. So we know to the guy who this guy beat, Teofimo Lopez. Loma has earned himself back into contention to challenge, but he's a guy that can wait until this is resolved between the two best lightweights at the division. In the case of Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, all the other champions at super featherweight are occupied. So if they're occupied, why not resolve the situation between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez? You know what I'm saying? I'm just tired of all the fuck shit, man, at the end of the day, man. You know? Tired of all the fuck shit. You know? We see the trends as boxing fans. We see that when there's a tough black fighter who is put into a situation, who's a tough black fighter who's put into the position where he should get the opportunities, for some reason is having these opportunities taken away. We see it with Terrence Crawford. We see it with Shakur Stevenson. We see it with Devin Haney. We see it with Demetrius Andrade. We just see it over and over and over again, and I'm sick of this shit. Let's make these motherfucking fights happen. You know what I'm saying? But let me know what you guys think about this shit, man. Hit it up in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, make sure you hit that like button. But until next time, man, I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.
If you check it out, Mexicans used to be very great fighters. When you go back to old school, old Mexicans, they were tough. They fight anybody out of challenge. But not today's Mexicans. They all duck top black box.